Hello and welcome to Excel Essentials. In this session we'll be covering the hyperlink formula. Now the hyperlink formula in Excel is really useful whether you want to link to documents either in SharePoint, OneDrive, on the web pages, or even documents locally, be it on a specific server or on your actual device if it's a shared device. It can be really useful in those regards. So as you can see here, we have the formula, which has only two parameters, one being a mandatory parameter and the other one being an optional one, which is where you can put a more friendly, more different sort of name that people actually might find more useful than just the URL, for example. So let's say we have these three different locations that we want to link to. So we've got the Google homepage, the Formula One homepage, and we've also got a device report. Now, these are just examples, and you can switch these out for whatever matches in your situation. Just be conscious that if you are putting a file in SharePoint or in OneDrive, that the people have access to it before you include it. Otherwise, you'll get a lot of people requesting access to that document because the hyperlink will be in this workbook. Now, I'm just going to copy the URL that we have here, and we're going to do our first go at doing the hyperlink formula. So we're going to do equals hyperlink, and in the link location we need to put our address, our URL, in quotation marks. So we're going to open quotation marks, put in google.com, close it, and we're just going to hit enter. Now if I expand this column, we see it just shows the URL address. But if we go back to and we hit F2 to go into edit it, and we go back just before the closing brackets and do comma, if I want to put the word Google, for example, I can type it in, or I can choose a cell reference. So if I put in C5, for example, and hit enter, we can see it's chosen the word Google Home. If I just remove the word home, for example, it automatically and dynamically updates. Now the same can be done for our second URL, and then we'll show what happens when you click them. Now if I do equals hyperlink, we're going to do the same thing and paste in our URL in quotation marks. And here we're just going to put Formula One, a custom name here, for example, and we're just going to hit enter to close it. So let's take a look at how you click it or interact with these. So it works like any other normal hyperlink. So what we are going to do here is I am going to go and hover over Google, and as we see we get the google.com address which we entered. And if we hover over the Formula One one, we get formula1.com, which is the URL which we entered. Now if you put your SharePoint file URL, if you put any other website URL, that will show up when you hover over them. Now if you click them, once you've clicked them, what happens is you get taken to that URL. So as you see, I clicked on the Formula One one and it's taken us to f1.com. Now looking at having files either in a server or either locally or in a shared drive, we're going to have a look at that here. So we've got a device report and we've got a specific address where we get that device report, for example. And as you see, it's today's file, so it's today's report. Now what we can do is we can do equals hyperlink, and we're going to do the same in quotation marks for the address. And what we're going to do is we're going to put a name of 10th of May report. And then we're just going to close that bracket and hit enter, and we get the 10th of May report. Now if I click on that link, what we get is a security notice first. So it looks for that document at that URL, And it also just is a security check that the file you are clicking to access is a file that you recognize and is from a trusted source. So if it was linking to a website you weren't too familiar or a random server, you can also hit no to not access that document or that server. Now if I click yes, what we see is Excel goes to process opening the document, and as you see we now have our report open here in Excel because it was a CSV file. Now if I close this file, we're straight back into our hyperlink workbook, and as you see the links interact and react the same way as they would in any other application, the internet when you click on web links. So they all interact and work the same way. Once they're clicked, they turn purple. When they're unclicked, they are blue. If you like this video, like, comment and subscribe. Otherwise, stay tuned for more Excel Essentials.